Hello, my dears, welcome back to Granny's Secret Diary. Sit down, make yourself comfortable, maybe grab a cup of tea. Because today, oh my loves, the story I'm about to tell you is not an easy one. It's a story about betrayal that cut deeper than any knife, about a mother's love stretched to its breaking point, and yes, about a revenge so quiet, so unexpected, that even my son never saw it coming. Tell me, my sweethearts, have you ever been pushed so far that you had no choice but to unleash a storm? Well, that's exactly what happened to me. You see, my only son, the boy I raised with my own trembling hands, the boy I sacrificed my happiness for, emptied my entire bank account one morning, vanished into thin air with his new wife and her mother, and left me with nothing but a frozen bank card and a shattered heart. But you know your granny? I'm not the kind to sit and cry for too long. Oh no. My revenge, well, let's just say, it's something they'll never forget. Stay till the end, my loves, because the way the story ends. Oh, it's delicious. It all began about 2 years ago. My son Daniel had always been my pride and joy. After my husband passed away, Daniel was everything I had left in this world. We weren't rich, but we managed, you know. I worked for 30 years as a librarian, saving every penny for Daniel's future, for his education, his marriage, and one day, maybe a house of his own. Daniel was always a sweet boy, soft-spoken, respectful, and good with his studies. He used to say, "Mom, one day, I'll make enough money so you'll never have to worry again." Oh, how those words echo now like ghosts of promises never kept. Then, one day, he brought her home. Her name was Melissa, pretty as a picture, with long, shiny hair and a smile that could melt butter. But my dears, something in her eyes, something sharp, calculating, made me uneasy from the start. I tried to brush it off. I told myself, "Granny, you're just being protective. The boy's grown up, let him choose." But the more I saw them together, the more I noticed how Melissa subtly pulled him away from me. It started with little things. She'd make fun of my cooking. She'd roll her eyes when I spoke, and whenever I'd suggest something, she'd whisper in Daniel's ear and he'd suddenly change his mind. Slowly, my sweet boy began slipping away. At first, I didn't say anything. You know how mothers are. We'd rather swallow our pain than see our children uncomfortable. But one night, I overheard them talking. Melissa said, "Daniel, you're never going to get ahead if you keep giving your mother money. She's old. She doesn't need much. We need that money for our future." I remember freezing right there in the hallway, clutching my chest. My Daniel didn't say a word to defend me. He just nodded. From that night onward, things changed. He started spending more time away from home, making excuses not to eat dinner with me. His laughter, once so full of life, became distant. And Melissa, she began coming around less, but when she did, she made sure I knew I wasn't welcome in my own house. One afternoon, I heard her mother, oh, that woman, on the phone, saying, "Once you marry him, you'll never have to work again. That old woman has savings, doesn't she? Make sure he gets access." My dears, I should have listened to my gut then. But I thought, he's my son. He'd never betray me. Weeks later, Daniel told me they were planning an engagement party. He seemed distant but polite, said he wanted me there to meet Melissa's extended family. I was so happy, my loves. I even pulled out my old jewelry box, the one I'd saved for my wedding day, thinking maybe I could pass down something special to her. We agreed that I'd help with the expenses, and I told him I'd transfer some money for deposits. Little did I know, that money would be the last I'd ever see in my account. One morning, I woke up and went to pay my electricity bill online. The screen showed balance here by Zodru. My hands went cold. I thought it was a glitch. I checked again, still zero. My heart started pounding. I rushed to the bank. The teller looked at me sympathetically and said, "Mrs. Walters, all funds were transferred 2 nights ago to an account under your son's name." My legs gave out. I remember sitting there, tears streaming down my face, whispering, "No, that can't be. My son would never." I tried calling Daniel, but his number went straight to voicemail. Days passed, and then a week. No word, no message. Finally, I saw a picture on social media. Daniel and Melissa at an airport, smiling, holding hands, with the caption, "New beginnings in Bali?" My dears, they had run away. He took everything. My life savings, my pension, and left me to fend for myself. I cried until I couldn't anymore. My neighbor, bless her heart, brought me soup and sat with me for hours. "You can't let this break you, dear," she said. "You raised him better than this." And she was right. After the first storm of tears passed, something inside me shifted. The love I had, it turned to something else. Not hate, exactly, but a kind of cold clarity. I realized that if he could betray me like that, he had to learn what it meant to lose something precious too. Months went by. I survived by selling a few things, downsizing to a smaller apartment. Then one day, out of the blue, Daniel called. His voice was hesitant like a stranger's. "Mom," he said, "we're back in town." My heart wanted to forgive him instantly, but my mind whispered, "Be calm, be clever." I asked him about the engagement party we were supposed to have, trying to sound casual. That's when he said it. The words that changed everything. "Oh, Mom, we eloped last week. We didn't want to make a big deal out of it. Eloped. After stealing from me. After vanishing. My dears, can you imagine the sting?" But I didn't shout. No, I smiled through the pain and said softly, "That's wonderful, Daniel. Congratulations to both of you. Because revenge, my loves, is a dish best served cold. Now, you might be thinking you know how this ends. But trust me, my dears, the most unbelievable part of this story is yet to come. What happened next is the very reason this story is in my diary. A few weeks after his call, Daniel came by with Melissa and her mother. Oh, they looked different, stressed, thinner. Melissa wasn't wearing her usual fancy clothes, and Daniel's face had lines I'd never seen before. They wanted to make amends, they said. But the truth slipped out soon enough. They needed money. Apparently, they'd invested my stolen savings in some online business that had collapsed. They'd lost everything. Melissa's mother started crying, saying, "We didn't mean for this to happen. We just thought we could double it." I sat quietly, nodding, pretending to be the gentle, forgiving mother. "Don't worry," I said. "We'll sort something out." I told them to come for dinner the next evening so we could discuss things properly. What they didn't know was that I had a plan. That night, I made calls. You see, before all this, I had quietly gone to the police months earlier and reported the theft. But I told them to hold off on action as long as I didn't press charges. They'd been kind enough to keep the file open. So I called the officer handling my case and told him, "Tomorrow evening, they'll be at my house." He said, "We'll be ready." The next evening, I cooked Daniel's favorite meal, roast chicken, mashed potatoes, apple pie. I even set the table with candles, just like old times. When they arrived, Melissa tried to hug me, and I let her, though it felt like being wrapped in thorns. As we sat down to eat, I said, "You know, Daniel, I kept a diary all these years. Of all the money I saved for you, every transaction, every sacrifice." He looked uneasy. I continued, "And do you remember how you said you'd always take care of me?" He nodded, avoiding my gaze. "Well," I said softly, "you will. Just not in the way you think." That's when there was a knock at the door. 2 officers stepped in. Melissa gasped. Her mother stood up, yelling, "You called the police on your own son." I smiled sadly and said, "No, dear. I called them on the thief who emptied my account." Daniel's face went pale. He tried to plead, but the officers showed him the report and the evidence. His transfers, his messages, everything. I told them, "Don't arrest him. I just want what's mine." The officer nodded and gave Daniel an ultimatum: repay the full amount or face legal consequences. Melissa broke down crying, shouting that it wasn't fair. I said calmly, "Fair? You stole from the woman who gave you life." Over the next few months, Daniel sold his car, worked long hours, and returned every last penny. He and Melissa's relationship cracked under the pressure. They separated soon after. Melissa's mother moved away quietly, and Daniel, my sweet boy who had once betrayed me, came back one evening with tears in his eyes. "Mom," he whispered, "I don't deserve your forgiveness." I took his hand and said, "You don't. But forgiveness isn't about what you deserve. It's about what I need to let go." He started visiting again, helping me around the house, fixing things, cooking dinner sometimes. We never spoke of the past again, but I could see the guilt in his eyes every time he looked at me. And that, my dears, was my quiet revenge. Not just reclaiming my money, but making him live with the knowledge of what he'd done, and watching him rebuild from the ashes of his own choices. So, what's the lesson in all this, my loves? It's simple. Never mistake a mother's kindness for weakness. We may bend, we may break, but we always find a way to rise again. Wiser, stronger, and sometimes just a little bit colder. It just goes to show you, sweethearts, that a person's true character is always revealed in the end. Not by how they love you when things are easy, but by how they treat you when they think you can't fight back. Now, tell me, my dears, what would you have done if you were in my place? Would you have forgiven him? Or would you have let him face the full weight of the law? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if this story touched your heart, or made you gasp even once, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who loves a good story, and subscribe to Granny's Secret Diary for more secrets from my little book of life. Until next time, my loves, stay kind, stay strong, and never let anyone take advantage of your heart.